Hey, it's 4 o'clock and it's Thursday night, so that means you're watching Chelsea and Tony live. And tonight we're going to be reviewing your photos that feature interesting light. So if you have not already submitted your photo, you can do that right now. Go to sdp.io/submit. And next week's theme, we have not chosen it yet. People are voting on it now. You can go to our Patreon and you can vote. It's between like tiny, eyes, street, alive. I got a little weird with the options this time. We're gonna spruce it up in the comments. You can comment your ideas for what we should be able to vote on the next time. So do that. And we have some interesting news today about Canon. Do they have a secret 250 megapixel camera? Tony's been working on that.
Yeah, I've also been doing testing to find out, to answer questions like, does it matter? Can you see the difference on an 8x10 print, 16x20, etc.? So we're going to answer and give you some of those results.
So submit your photos now. We'll be reviewing those shortly. But first, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, Squarespace. Whether you need a website, domain, or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. They have beautiful award-winning designer templates. It doesn't matter if you have bad taste, Bob, okay? You can have a beautiful website too. It's so easy. It just got to drag and drop to make it happen. And guess what? You can start your free trial today at squarespace.com/Chelsea. And if you use the coupon code Chelsea, you can get 10% off. Woo, Chelsea.
Right. Bob does need a website. He could give
Bob.
pool lessons and maybe like flip-flop fashion.
Yeah.
That's what Bob's all about. While you're sending in your photos, let's talk about the rumors surrounding Canon's new high megapixel sensor. The rumors are saying that Canon's going to be the high megapixel king again. The Sony a7R IV was released with 60 megapixels, and that unseated Canon's own 50 megapixel 5DSR. There's also the 100 megapixel Fujifilm GFX 100. So now the 5DSR, well, it's already super old, but it's also looking a little bit low megapixel. And that's not something like Canon's going to stand for. But I know a lot of you are asking, like, is it worthwhile? And we'll check that out. First of all, I want to say in 2015, Canon invited us to the Canon Expo, and they showed us a 250 megapixel APS-H sensor. So that's smaller than full frame. If you were to scale it up to full frame, it would then be about 422 megapixels. So they had that tech in 2015.
I remember the picture it took.
Yeah, and they were demoing a 120 megapixel sensor, also an APS-H, that we were able to actually shoot with, and it produced good results. And that would equate to about 200 megapixels if they scaled it up to full frame 4 years ago. So we've been waiting for it because they were so hyped about high megapixel and then just like nothing ever came from it. But now I think is the perfect time for Canon to do this. And I want to say in January of 2019, we put out this video like end the megapixel war. Like we got sick of more and more megapixels. I felt like it wasn't making any difference. But as we've been testing the Sony a7R V, I'm kind of changing my mind. Like I keep showing people these high megapixel pictures and testing it, and people are kind of blown away. I can answer some questions. Does diffraction limit the sharpness as you get into these high megapixels? The answer seems to be no. Do lenses limit the detail? The answer seems to be no. Isn't 300 DPI enough? The answer definitely no. 300 DPI is not enough. You can definitely see and notice a difference in prints as you go above 300 DPI. We'll get into that in more detail in another video. And does anyone need this? Yeah, I want to say big, large prints. There's a wow factor to these things.
I like your equation at the bottom.
Yeah, I try to keep it simple for people.
Big prints equal wow, guys. It's simple math, okay?
How many photo galleries have we been into where the prints are like massive and they're nicely lit? And you're like, wow. And then, but everybody in the photography community still seems to be thinking only in 8x10s.
Absolutely.
Sam, when we talked about 8x10s, like if a client wants an 8x10, you have a word for an 8x10 print, right? What do you call it?
I call it a gift print.
A gift print.
Anything over that, I call it a wall print.
Yeah. And what are some common sizes that you sell most frequently in your prints?
Well, even though it's a gift print, I do sell them. The 8x10, 11x14, 16x20, 24x32, 30x40. But I don't sell as many 30x40s as I would like.
Yeah. But you do still sell some. So there is this kind of need for these bigger prints that a lot of people just seem to ignore. So I've been doing these tests, and I'm just going to give you a hint at the results. I've been showing pictures to actual people. I'm waiting to gather a bigger sensor size, but so far it seems like if you compare 24 and 240 megapixel pictures at 8x10, people can see a difference, but only if they like really look closely.
Actually, it was my first impression.
Yeah, you knew right away.
Who else did you show?
Justin and myself.
You showed yourself.
Well, yeah, but I said I did like a blind thing where I didn't know which was which.
Okay.
And then I actually checked it, and it was like it's so slight it hardly matters at 8x10. But once you get into 16x20, we all agreed that the 240 megapixel picture was visibly sharper, but it was a slight difference. Nobody complained about the 16x20 picture. We all thought it was acceptable even from a 24 megapixel camera. But then as you got into 32x40, the 240 megapixel picture looked obviously better. And at that point, the lower megapixel picture definitely like started to break down and look a little soft. And then I also printed it up to 64x80, and there the difference is drastic. And at 240 megapixels, an 80-inch print looks okay. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
So why do we think Canon is going to do this? Because the 5DSR was king and it's been unseated. And I don't think Canon's going to stand for that. They've had this tech for years. If you look at the EOS R system, we've tested those new EOS R lenses, and when I say they're immeasurably sharp, I mean that quite literally. We only have a 30 megapixel body to put on it, but the lenses are so sharp that I get nowhere near the limit of the resolution of the lens. They could definitely stick a 100 megapixel body on those super sharp lenses, and it would be amazing. Also, Canon cannot make a high-end sports mirrorless camera right now. I just don't think they have the tech. The focusing system in the EOS R cameras is not up for, it can't compete with the 1DX or the A9. They can't do that, but they could make a very high megapixel studio camera, a mirrorless version of the 5DSR. They could do that, and they need a high-end R camera right now to draw people into that system.
Yeah.
The lenses are lined up and waiting. They just need it. So my guess is we're going to see a Canon EOS RS. It's going to be 100 megapixels. It will have sensor stabilization, a low frame rate, maybe 5 frames per second, CF Express, and SD card, and I'm betting they're going to price it at about $5,000. I think we'll see it 2019.
I think it's interesting that cameras just keep like fighting over how many megapixels each one has, but more and more people are viewing their photos on smaller and smaller screens.
Yeah, this is true too.
So like when you do need to print, this is helpful and it looks beautiful, but so many people are just looking at pictures on Instagram on their phone.
An argument I hear all the time is that like 12 megapixels is enough for 95% of what I do.
Yeah.
And that's probably true. But what about that other 5%? Like, what about those times when you do want to make a big print, when you luck out and you get some beautiful portfolio picture, or maybe something that you think you can sell? Like, you can't just, I mean, maybe you could rent a camera every single time for that 5%, but that's going to add up pretty fast. And it would have made it, you would have been cheaper just to get the high megapixel camera to begin with.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can't anticipate those times when you would need it, like a moment comes up surprisingly, or you get a job that you need to shoot the very next day. So you kind of can't have a camera just for 95% of what you need. You kind of need a camera that can cover 100% of what you need. Most people anyway. Let's take a look at some people's pictures.
Let's look.
The theme today is interesting light. And this picture definitely qualifies. There's not much to it, just a window and a shadow, but I like the balance of it.
I do. I think it's interesting, Brian. It's definitely different. And even though it's just such a smally lit area, I feel like I'm in a barn or something. Oh.
I had to cheat. Oh,
yeah, there's antlers all over.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it actually got pretty scary. Okay, good surprise in there, Brian.
All right, Brian, you scared Tony. Rushing by Nick.
This is kind of beautiful, right?
That's a cool idea. And it's definitely all about the light. I like that you guys understood the theme, that this has to be some kind of different, interesting light, and you're showing that off. I like the story here. The car's clearly driving. I know it's at night. I think it's cool. Whoa.
Sterile lit by emergency light, Velvia 50. Okay, I'm going to give you a pick. It's gorgeous, right?
Yeah, that's very creepy.
I love the angles of the light. It's a piece of art.
You're a piece of art. Venice Beach at witching hour.
Wait, is that the same person, or they're actually... Okay, Rob. No. One picture, Rob. What are you doing, Rob?
Come on, Rob. You almost won us over, Rob. That's so cute, but it's not really about the light. It's just this is the cutest cat. I guess, Tanya, what is interesting about the light is that the whiskers it's being lit and then the whiskers are on a dark background. So that's good. It's cute.
It's pretty light.
I mean,
but
how
it's
can you not
pretty
like
soft
that
light.
picture?
Yeah.
Southwest zoom. Are you in a tunnel? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I think it's a Southwest Airlines. We're in an airplane here.
Oh.
And yeah, that's a really cool idea, actually. I don't know if they must have just zoomed a little bit and kind of gotten that effect, but it worked out pretty cool. That's interesting.
That is
very
cool.
abstract. Great eye.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a pick because that was creative.
Yeah, that was creative. You took a boring place and you made it interesting. Reflections. Let's see.
Yeah, it is interesting because those bright lights here and the shadows and everything, they seem to be reflections from the building.
Yeah.
And the sun is off like camera right somewhere.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is pick worthy. Wait, it's also, look at what it's doing to the guy's shadow. Like it's making him look like a different person.
Yeah.
Very cool. Whoa, yeah.
I like to look for like hard shadows like that when the sun is low in the sky and you have clear skies because you can do really cool
It
things.
would not have been the same photo without that interesting lighting. Definitely very cool.
Ivan, I give you a pick.
You guys are stepping it up. So this is just like a flat, soft lighting, and it's a beautiful picture. But I don't think wow, okay. This is incredible. I love this shot. Of course, I'm giving you a pick. I think the lighting is interesting because it's lit inside the car, and it's nice and warm. And I love that the warm lighting is contrasting with the blue outside. You get this really gorgeous mood. I love the eye contact and the styling. The kids inside the car kind of match that retro vibe of the car. It's amazing, right, Tony?
Yeah, I love the shot. The color is absolutely wonderful. I don't know that you have to do any processing on it at all, but I might want to even just get rid of the sticker here. This thing distracts me a little bit too, but you don't have to do anything. It's beautiful.
Edward, I do like the contrast between this hard light on these beautiful red roses and the black background. I do think that's pretty interesting. So that's nice, the color contrast too. James Flannery.
This is great.
Yeah, this is
I don't know
cool.
what is going on here, but I presume that you saw this light and you kind of pose somebody in front of it, but the pose is great. I love that the rain is happening there. It adds so much to it. It seems like a scene from some sci-fi movie.
Yeah, that's cool. What you talking about, Willis Tower by Keith? Wait. Well, it's a beautiful sunset. Definitely a beautiful sunset.
Did you know that that's like a really rare instance? That's like a mirage refracting over the water, the Willis Towers in Chicago, and they're on the other side of the lake, but you don't normally see that.
No.
Oh, no, I guess I didn't realize that.
didn't
There's
know
some
that.
backstory to it.
Wait, so that I'm not actually looking at those buildings. That's just a reflection?
Yeah, it's just like a mirage or something.
Oh.
And it's only like very specific times of day or times of year or something. I was just reading about it. That's the only reason I know it.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you knew that,
That sounds like an
Justin.
encyclopedia. Yeah, otherwise we would have just gone past it without really knowing what was happening.
Yeah. Sun Clouds Fog City. I think the clouds are probably the most interesting part. It's definitely a beautiful photo. Yeah, that's a great photo. Lightning and taillights.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
very cool and definitely a good example of interesting light. I think we'll give this one a pick
Yeah.
too.
And I
I like
love
that a
the
lot.
purple sky and the contrast with the red brake lights. It's really pretty. Cool shot. That looks so spooky. Like, wow.
I will say that concerts are a great place for interesting light. They put so much energy into the lighting for these scenes, and they have fog in there that illuminates the light beams. I love shooting concerts for that reason.
Yeah, I think this is pretty typical concert light, but I do love, especially the drummer, his expression and stuff. That's cool. I love when the shadows are coming towards you like that. It looks kind of alien.
I might want it filling the frame more though, because so much of the frame is just darkness right now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's slightly off level too. No, maybe it's not.
That's cool. That's interesting. I like those shadows, the long light. Bob Rainville. I love this as an abstract shot, Bob. I don't think, I mean, maybe the light's definitely helping, but that's not really the subject. I like that you found this repetitive pattern. Very cool.
Okay, got some star trails here. I feel like you have a street light off camera left, and that's kind of causing the lens to flare up a little bit. I think
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think what star trails need are some interesting subject in the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
So look at something like Star Seeker and figure out where the North Star is going to be, and
This
line
is a
something
good
cool up in
start.
front of it.
It's definitely a good start. Flares and trails. Thunderstorm sunset.
That's gorgeous. I'm going to give this one a pick. My one regret is that the road here is not quite perfectly centered, and I know I'm more of a stickler than anybody else, but because it's like slightly off, if you could have just shifted to the right a little bit, I would have been so much more satisfied with that. But it's a great moment. Just wait for that to happen again.
Yeah, just wait for that. That's cool. Like that effect of the fish just floating. Sunset in the north, actually, it's southern Finland. Beautiful sunset.
Yeah, this seems to be the main subject. Like that's where my eye goes because there's nothing else, and I want a little more subject separation here because it kind of overlaps with the shadows. If you were to shift a little bit to the left, you might have been able to separate it a little better.
That's good feedback. I
or
agree with
have
that.
somebody on it, but give us a nice focal point. This is interesting light. It's almost dappled light, but maybe it's coming through some sort of, I guess it's a patio. It could have been a lattice or something.
This is the light.
Oh, it's shooting straight up at a light.
Yeah, they're
okay.
shooting straight up at a light.
I see.
And this is the pattern of the light. Sam, do you have any questions or comments from the people?
I do have a few questions and comments from the people. Let's see what we got here. So this is kind of going back to your megapixel conversation. Alan Gillis says, do you think Canon would make an EOS R 100 megapixel camera for landscapes and wildlife?
That's my hope. They pitched the 5DSR as just being a studio camera, but we used it for both landscapes and wildlife, and it did really well. I don't know if the focusing system's going to be up for wildlife, but it would definitely be great for landscapes. Maybe for portraits.
Do you want me to ask another one, or would you like to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Jim Setzer, our friend Jim Setzer, has a question.
Hi, Jim.
And he said this question's for all of us. Do you have any non-traditional light or modifier that you have incorporated into your portraiture product or other genre? Non-traditional light or modifier.
Well, I know you have some creative stuff, Sam. What do you use?
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot. I don't know that I use anything super non-traditional. Maybe I light things not traditionally. When I'm shooting events or if I'm on location, I use the flash bender quite often, which I like, which is that it's like a big flag that you attach right to your flash. In the studio, I use V-flats quite a bit to bounce light around. I shoot a lot of sort of flat-ish light. I'm always trying to make window light make light appear like it's natural light. I kind of really like that look. So I would say I'm using traditional equipment in non-traditional ways.
Mm-hmm.
I have used corrugated plastic from a hardware store. So I'll go to a hardware store and walk down the aisles and find different things. And so I've used like corrugated plastic, and then I've used
that was your cover, isn't it, for the cover of the book?
That was
bubble wrap.
That was bubble wrap. Yeah.
But we did use an interesting light for that. If you watch the video that we made, we just took a bunch of LED strip lights and put them on like chicken wire and kind of crafted our own custom light.
We made a starburst light. We have a whole video on that. And then another thing that I used that I thought was cool was, you know those pegboards that you see in garages? They're brown and they have a bunch of holes. You can put a light through the back of that and then use that as a background in your photo, and you get like all these pinhole lights.
Oh, that's super cool. Actually, I forgot I did do one. I got an old timey movie light, like a light from a movie set, and I did do a shoot with that. That's, I guess, not traditional because that was scary. I needed a fire extinguisher because it was very hot.
And then we've used
on our Game of Thrones shoot, I used a Fresnel, which just focuses the light like a lighthouse would use.
Yeah.
Because we needed to throw a light beam a pretty long distance, and that worked pretty well.
Yes, I think the answer is yes. We've used all sorts of random things. I've used
the coolest thing about light.
I've used glasses, colored martini glasses to shoot through and like put lights through to make different diffraction and stuff. Like I've pulled branches off of trees and used flowers to shoot through to make shadows and patterns. So just do whatever you want. Oh, and also we got this really cool light that we were supposed to do a portrait for today, but we were slackers. And you put these little aluminum screens in with different patterns, and you get speckled light and sunburst light, and you can get slats like you're shooting through blinds. That's very cool.
Yeah, you can actually focus the light.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Mark Kostich, check out this amazing portrait. That is so cool. Do you think the wax actually melted all over her hand?
I don't know, but this reminds me of Sarah's picture where the girl, she submitted it, the girl had like a candle crown. I wonder if this was inspired by that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's got a little teardrop in her eye.
Why is she crying? Probably because she's burning.
Give me a pick mark.
Lights by Terry McBride. Yeah, that's cool, Terry. You did some light painting a lo Picasso. Like it.
Yeah, I wish it felt a little more deliberate. It feels like
wild.
Shaky camera kind of thing. Holy.
Whoa. Kanye.
Okay. Kanye. Dang. Okay. Well.
He is dramatic. I'll give him that.
Great shot, Doral. Okay. This has right away too much processing, right? We got to dial it back some.
Yeah, I think so, but it's really nice. It's just,
yeah,
it has some artifacts from your editing. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint what's going on exactly. It's almost like you brought up the reeds here, but then couldn't do it over there. Not really sure.
I would just go back and reprocess it. I think there's some potential there.
Me too.
There's big graduated filters when you need to adjust things.
Well.
We've been bugged by these cicadas lately, so.
That's not it. Is that a cicada?
Well, that's what the description says, but
it looks like one. It looks like one that's dead, that died and hollowed out. You know, you find the hollowed out cicada bodies.
Oh.
I mean, I found them. I found them before.
I don't like that. This is Robert.
Okay.
What's Robert?
Hey, Robert.
The pool is Robert? That is a cool pool.
Yeah, let's get a focal point in there, though. Okay, this is a great concert shot. This is the best one we've seen so far. The fact is you're up close. You got access to the pit, probably. Or maybe you planned this out. Maybe it's not during a concert. No, he's got earpieces in. It must be during a concert. I kind of want to dodge the guitar a little bit and just see a little bit more detail in the edge of the guitar. But overall, I think it's a fantastic shot. I could definitely handle like a square crop. Would be great for Instagram.
Not a comp.
I think with these shots, first the lights feel a little overexposed to me. I would use a graduated filter in post to kind of bring those down. I also kind of want to see a compelling foreground, like find a good landscape, someplace where the road itself is going to make interesting lines, because here, if we were higher up, maybe it would be more interesting, but from where we are, the shape itself is not that compelling. Chelsea's making some adjustments.
Yeah, but this is being really slow, so I'm struggling, to be honest with all of you right now. I'm struggling.
Oh.
And but I think you guys.
I think that day when I processed 250 megapixel files in here, it killed it. It hasn't recovered yet.
Really?
Yeah, the first time I tried to do it, it completely broke the computer, and I had to go in and I had to turn off the GPU acceleration. So that actually could be the problem. Maybe I need to turn it back on. It was faster without it, so I thought maybe it would overall be faster, but maybe that's causing the problem. Okay, so here we have some sort of big silo storage
I don't know, I'm
facility.
scared. But it's interesting scene, but not really interesting lighting. I think it's the city at night. Now, this is some interesting lighting. Flashlight on a string at the Kiss Museum. Cool. That's very neat. Aurora, that's definitely interesting.
And you found a good foreground subject. Good job, Mike.
Oh,
It's really cute.
I love that backlit look. I wish I could see her feet more because they're so cute and they're lit.
Watch the edges of the frame. You cut off her feet and it's in an awkward place.
But really cute. I'm still going to give you a pic. That is adorable. That is some creepy, Alcatraz. Very cool. It's a nice picture. I'm really looking for like the interesting light though. So that's why I'm kind of just scooting through.
Yeah. Because I mean, your picture's not bad, but maybe it's not on theme.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. You don't always see that. What? Was it really yellow like that?
It could have been. It could be.
That is interesting. That's definitely interesting.
Okay. An eclipse definitely counts as interesting. It's a good shot. Nicely done.
That's our dog scritching and scratching. Okay.
There's no stopping her.
Oh, wow. This is cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. I can't even imagine what caused that, but it's definitely interesting.
Is it?
And I think as far as like a street photo goes, you found a pretty good subject there in the foreground.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm giving you a pic. You definitely captured a cool moment. She should stop eventually. I don't think, what's she going to do? Dig down through the ground? I don't know. Maybe. Sam, do you have any questions or comments for us?
Let's see what else we got.
Yes, I do.
I like this one.
Aaron Smith would like to know, and I feel like maybe you have done this already, but just to clarify for Aaron, will you ever review drones?
Oh, yeah, we reviewed drones for quite some time, and
Yeah.
I just haven't done one recently, but I've been using the Mavic 2 Pro. I just need to make a review of it.
Yeah.
I guess there was a second part of that question. Sorry. I asked because now that DJI bought a controlling stake in Hasselblad and the new Pro 2 has a Hasselblad.
And wait, what was the second part of the question? I know DJI owns Hasselblad. Sorry, this dog is going crazy in here.
So I have a question. Will you ever review drones? I asked because now that DJI bought a controlling stake in Hasselblad and the new Pro 2 has a Hasselblad.
Oh,
I don't know if
right,
that was a full question or...
Yeah, check our channel. We have a bunch of drone reviews. We just haven't reviewed the latest generation of Mavics, but I have been using one. It's good. Got enough of a review. I like the zoom though. I had no interest in that Hasselblad branded one.
I love this photo. I love the deep shadows under his chin, and he's in the slice of light. I think it's really beautiful. Before it was a little bit more flat. I like the contrast, but I think that's a matter of taste. I think the photo's beautiful no matter what, Natasha. I love it. You nailed it.
Awesome shot. I want to take a look at a Squarespace portfolio.
Let's look at a Squarespace portfolio because I think it's one thing to have your photos displayed chronologically on your social media. Maybe you get the best photo of that week and you put it up and that's the first thing people think of you. That could be your worst photo ever or your least best photo, and that's what they see. And what I like about having a website is if someone's really interested in you professionally and they look you up, they will go there, because I always go to someone's website, and they'll get to see what you think are your best photos first, and only your best photos, because people really do judge you by your worst photo. I don't know why, but that is true. So let's see what Mega Zero Miko is doing with their Squarespace website. What can I just say right away? You have some this one is so interesting. And even this one has more movement and is interesting. I like that they're up top. And how beautiful. Look at these cedar waxwing looking at each other.
Yeah, these are great shots.
Gorgeous. I love that. That's beautiful.
So the last photo there, I would take that one out.
This one or this one?
The one on the right. It doesn't really strike me, and I think you should start with your best photo and end with your second to best photo, because that's where people are going to stop and pause.
I would take out this osprey as well. I'm guessing this is one of the few osprey shots that you have, but it's not as good as the rest of your photos.
Yeah. I think this might be your most powerful shot. I would just do a little bit of cropping and a little bit of editing on it. Unless you follow Moose Peterson's philosophy about wildlife photography, I think it would improve it.
This is so cute. Let's go to nature. I'm excited to look through more of your pictures because I love that they're so up close and vivid. Like this one is just so vivid and beautiful. Wow, this is a pretty moonshot. I love that you got the pink clouds and the blue. It's just gorgeous. I love your eye for beauty. This last shot, not as strong as the others. Maybe it just needs a little more contrast, but it doesn't pop out at me like the rest. So maybe you just need to pull out 1 or 2 photos. Okay, now you have people too? What don't you do?
I think these are Miko's strongest set of photos.
These are strong as well. I'd say this woman hiding behind the leaves, I like that it's avant-garde and interesting, but it doesn't fit in. The rest feel very hireable other than the eye shot is cool. I guess it could be like a makeup shot or something. Why is our dog really losing her mind? Pets. Oh my gosh, I would totally hire you to do a shot like that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, these are great.
Look at the hamster shot.
That's great.
So cute.
Great storytelling there.
Oh my gosh, look at this cat nose. Oh, look at this one. I think this is your strongest category. I can't stop looking.
I'm almost wondering if we should recommend that Miko combine everything into one set of photos, like almost the way I have organized my portfolio, because Miko has some amazing shots in each one of the categories. But when you bounce between the different categories, you're seeing a lot of pictures that aren't the most amazing shots. What do you think? Is it better to have them broken out at this point?
I like them broken out because I think that he had enough good ones in every category.
Mm-hmm.
I would say now that I'm in your about section, I would have a picture of yourself, and I think your name is Miko, but I would just say a few things like, hi, my name is Miko. I love photography. If you're interested in getting a picture, you can contact me here. And I think people will. I kind of want you to take a picture of me and my pet because you're really good at that.
Yeah, don't be so shy. We got to see you. Even on your Instagram, you're not showing a picture of yourself. Here's what Miko had to say about Squarespace. I'm a new user of Squarespace, and I really enjoyed browsing all of the templates. It's a very nice way for me to organize my work and helps me focus on photography growth area gaps. Nice user interface as well. Very simple to use.
I like that Miko said that it helps him focus on his growth area gaps, because so many times when I redo my website, I think that I like shooting one thing, and once I organize all of those photos, I realize, oh, I thought I was doing, street photography, but I only have a couple photos that I really like, and I'd like to make them stronger. And so even if you're not selling your work, it's a way to keep replacing your old photos with your new best photos. And it's a way of tracking your progress and making sure you're shooting what you actually like and what's important to you. So that's why I like having one.
Cool. Miko likes Squarespace. We do too. If you want to try out your own Squarespace website for free, you can go to squarespace.com/Chelsea. If you love it, you'll have a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. Just try it out. If you love it, you can use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. And if you do sign up, go to scp.io/link and send us your portfolio, and maybe we'll review it next week.
Even if you're using just the free 14-day trial, we'll review it as long as it's within those 14 days, obviously. Let's see. Man. That is interesting light. That's a beautiful dog Rooney.
Yeah. Great light, great processing.
Unlike our dog, a little scritchy scratch over there.
You got to go in there and get stuff like that. Do a little.
The dog shed so much, it shed hair on itself. Beautiful. I would, the editing on the eyes, I just dial it back a little bit. Wow, that's gorgeous. I'm going to give that a pick.
Yeah,
it looks otherworldly. It's really beautiful. I don't know what that is, but it's very interesting, Stephanie, and I like that you did something different. It's cool. Arcade trails, very cool. Winter dog walker. This is like a dream. Beautiful. Pick.
All right. This is awesome.
Cool, right?
Got a headlight there. I wish we could actually, we can see like part of a headlight, but if I could see them both, it would be, the storytelling would be better, right? Yeah. This
Very
is actually a
beautiful.
pretty flat light.
Yeah, I thought that's why I kept going. Now that's interesting.
Yeah. It looks like we have
Wow.
some gels in there. We have some light sources in the frame.
Pick. You tried something different and you succeeded. That seems pretty typical. I like that you just took a normal everyday object, lit by two PS4 controllers.
Oh, what a great idea.
You don't need expensive lighting rigs to make a creative shot, people.
Yeah, light
That
is so
is-
flexible that way. Like anything can be a light source.
I've used my phone.
Yeah.
You could even pull up a picture of a primary color on your phone and then use that light.
One of my favorite hacks when
It's beautiful.
the subjects are boring is to include the sun in the frame as
Yeah.
a focal point. It makes it so much more interesting. And if you want those starbursts, you can shoot at f/22 like Mike here did.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, and the way it's lighting up the steam, great timing.
Wow, that's a really beautiful picture too. You guys are nailing it. This is gorgeous too.
Nice shot, Charlie. That cloud is pretty amazing.
Wow. Peter, I do like the carnival light. I might get something in the foreground too. Wow. This is Ireland. Ireland, it still says Smack Jacks. What's going on, man?
He's trying to use his real identity now, huh?
I'm sorry, Ireland, but I'm adding a little more contrast.
Thank you for the M's, by the way.
Yeah, we ate them all.
Yeah.
I love this.
What are M's?
Well, he lives in Norway and he sent us some candy, which is a good idea for everybody to do.
Yeah.
And they were almost like M&Ms, but they were just called M's. So I don't know. Maybe Norway probably invented it, and I would bet M&M's like stole it and just added an extra M.
I like theirs better. Like, why is Norwegian chocolate and like ice cream and stuff so much better?
I don't know.
We miss
Sorry, I
softies.
don't have a compelling answer to that.
And I also want to let Ireland know our group chat from Norway is Softie Gang because we love softies so much from Norway.
Erilyn, just watch out for the clipped highlights. Maybe you bracketed the shot. And wait, he's using an A5100? That seems unlike him. I didn't know he had that.
Is this a different
It couldn't be a...
Smack Jack?
I mean, that sure looks like Norway to me, but I've just never known him to use a Sony.
What is happening? I'm so scared.
I think, yeah. Don't have to be scared, Chelsea. They're just...
Is there an imposter?
This is actually pretty cinematic. There's something I like about this shot. It's haunting.
I'm haunted. You just said I didn't have to be scared, and then this comes up. Port Southampton. I like the moon in there. Is this a long oh yeah, the boats. You can't really do a long exposure of boats. It's hard. But yeah, it's interesting. Woo. The Ritz-Carlton Wedding Chapel. That's kind of an interesting structure, huh?
Yeah, I think I would just pull in closer and make the composition around the interesting lines of the chapel, because most of the frame is just kind of filled with like sidewalk and then some kind of like scrubby trees off to the left. So really try to simplify the composition.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, this is really
I like
interesting.
that.
I like the noise in it.
He looks like a little baby. Whoa, I like that. The headlights, very cool. You turn something like traffic that would normally be ugly into something that's making a leading line of light in the foreground. That's pretty cool. Loving these rays. Good. Sam, do you have any other questions or comments from the peeps?
I do. Okay, we've got Chris A has a question. When you see hundreds of thousands of images, of amazing images, do you feel that you may have become desensitized to what constitutes amazing work and maybe expect too much of a novice or even experienced photographers in their work?
No, actually, I've come to appreciate more simple photos as a result. So I see a lot of like over-processed HDR, like over what I now think is like overly glamorous because I see so much of it. And now when I just see a very simple, sincere photo, I actually appreciate that more. Because I think that as photographers, when we get too deep into it, we kind of separate ourselves from like the heart of the craft, which is to capture something meaningful. And then it becomes like this more egotistical pursuit of perfecting a craft rather than capturing real moments. Does that make sense? So when I see a real moment captured, even if it's not like the most fantastical photo, I'll appreciate that more.
That makes sense to me. I just want to say gorgeous photo, Matt. I don't really have any critique for you, but you did a good job with the interesting light. I think the bokeh and the reflections here are compelling. Good work. I'm just kind of flipping through. Do you have any other questions for us, Sam?
Sure. I'll also add prior to my question that Manny Ortiz is joining us this week.
What's up, Manny? You can't answer.
Manny,
Okay.
why won't you answer me, Manny? He's so rude. What else, Sam?
Also, Anshul Bhatia just gave you $5 for a softie as appreciation.
I wish I could get a
Thank you.
softie. I'll
Yeah.
get an American softie.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Brent Schumer also paid $5 to say, can you please post the weekly photo submission category on Facebook in advance for easy notice? Thank you.
Yeah,
we could do it on a
better at
public
that.
Facebook group. Yeah,
Yeah, we could be better.
we could be better.
Oh, we should go back and see what people voted for on the Patreon page. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can vote. It just costs $1 a month, and you get to vote. And if you hate these categories, then this is your time to speak
We
up.
only got one vote.
Well, we got a few. We got two. But now that we know the winner is alive, so only 5 people voted. So it would be really easy to win a better theme.
Well,
Alive.
so I was
Like-
thinking about just scrapping our whole Patreon for that reason that only a couple people ever vote.
Okay,
mean-
we'll see. Maybe people will go and join the Patreon now. And when you say alive, is it like the movie Alive?
No, it's just like something that shows life. So maybe a weed coming up through the concrete, maybe a child jumping. Just be creative. I don't
Guess I
care.
have to cancel my plans then.
No, you can do that. I don't care. I just want to see something interesting.
Here's an amazing shot from Christian Vidal. I don't even know how they did that. Is this like water trickling down in the background and then maybe the haze is done in post? And then the glass is backlit. Sorry, I'm immediately trying to dissect your photo, but that's just the way
That's
my
what-
brain works. I'm like, I like this. Now I need to figure out exactly how it's done. Now I'm wondering actually if the background and the haze are all done in post. Is
I
it-
thought it was just all a comp
yeah, I think it might. Yeah, it looks
because you're not even seeing reflections. Like the reflections on the bottle aren't even. I don't know.
sorry.
I'm confused.
Sorry, Christian. I still like the picture. Sometimes we're too deep in photography. Most people don't immediately dissect every image that they see.
They should. It's fun.
Some nice backlighting. That's really pretty. We have very nice symmetrical composition there. Good expression from her. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna keep moving through.
Yeah, find something where the light itself is really compelling.
Ooh, this is interesting lighting. Yeah, and I like the leading lines up here of the fence, kind of bringing your eye down to her. She's not perfectly in focus or anything, but it's kind of this creepy night mood, and it all comes together. I like that. Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that really is.
Wow, that is beautiful light.
So even.
Mm-hmm.
You got to clean up that sensor dust in the sky, though.
Oh, I hate sensor dust.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I don't know why I skipped past that. That's very cool.
Yeah, underwater really creates some compelling light.
Wow, rainbow strike. What?
Yeah, how did you work that out?
It's a
Okay,
double
you
rainbow
could have
too.
picked
Look.
just for, oh yeah.
Why is life so cool? I think I'd actually bring it more blue. Oh,
It would
cool.
have been so nice if you could have been on the other side of the road.
Hmm?
And just got that road in the foreground, right? It doesn't add much to it.
That's cool. Wow.
Oh, I like the person in the foreground there. Oh, I feel like we should have
An
text
inspirational
about your
quote.
dog dying or something.
Yeah, it makes me feel like everyone's going to heaven. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful light. Ooh.
Yeah, the light here really
love
makes it makes
Karen.
the background fall off to black, which makes the subject pop. That is
Look at how
crazy amounts of sharp.
it's like velvety, gorgeous. You captured the colors and you got subject separation. Sometimes with flower shots, people don't think about the background. You nailed it, Karen. This is beautiful. It's simple, but done really well.
Whoa. He's got, okay, Darth has got a beer, but what does he have?
His phone?
Is that a tricorder?
I don't know.
Oh, that's like a Star Trek person. I don't know which one. People are going to be so mad.
I don't think people have ever actually gotten mad when you've messed up those references.
We'll see.
You're like, I don't believe you. Okay. Look at this little bottle collection down here.
Yeah, those people know how to party. That's gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. I don't know if it's the light that makes it, but that photo is amazing.
Yeah, that's very
Chris, that's
cool.
awesome.
Good job,
I love the
Chris.
trees
Good
at
job,
the bottom.
Mount Drum. Yeah, that gives some scale.
You give that mountain some credit.
Good job, Mountain. Ooh, Bruce, this is so cool. Pick, Bruce.
Makes you think of The Shining.
Whoa, this is great, Stephen. I love the side lighting that you used, the added drama.
I want a little
Pick.
more light on the foil, though. Don't you want it to pop off a little bit more?
Sure.
Because it just disappears in the shadows.
Mr.
We just saw
Miko.
this, yeah,
Your portfolio.
in the portfolio.
Nice shot.
Oh, he sent it in twice accidentally.
Angelo, this is interesting lighting. You have this flower bouffant.
Yeah, she looks like she's side lit by two different lights, and maybe the left light has a green gel on it.
Yeah, I'm just adding a little warmth in so that we can get some warmth on her skin to contrast the green.
Great styling and posing. I really like it.
Yeah, very cool. Of course, that's gorgeous.
Center.
Wow, I like this. This is kind of what I had in mind for the theme. So this is definitely really interesting. Pick. That's cool.
Yeah, I like the shot a lot. A shadow abstracted. That's very cool.
Oh my gosh, this is such beautiful lighting. And then look.
Does he have human teeth?
No, he's just making a silly face. I love when dogs do that. All right, I'll give you a pick. You guys are figuring things out about us. But wow, spot color.
Don't make Oklahoma joke. Don't make Oklahoma joke.
This is really cute.
Yeah,
Good,
that's
good
really
pick.
sweet. Great use of light.
And a good expression too. Really cute, like she's hugging the moon or something. Okay, let's take a few more questions, Tony, and get on out of here.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'll randomly flip through some pictures while you do that.
Oh
that's
my
a
gosh,
beautiful
this
portrait.
is gorgeous. Pick.
What do you have for us, Sam?
Wow.
How about a nice comment with a $5 tip from the horror zone?
Okay.
Because your book helped me so much.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you very much.
I'm guessing they mean stunning digital photography.
They didn't say.
Windows
but,
NT Network Plumbing from 1995.
It's just kind of funny, Jimmy. So if you haven't, well, I guess there's one relevant comment and the rest is just silly stuff. Jonathan Palagonia says, are there any suggestions for a desert dweller who wants to take nice photos, but doesn't want to go outside in the 113-degree heat? Phoenix in summer is like reverse winter.
That's what I've heard. Speaking of, look at this gorgeous desert shot right here.
It's a good question. I definitely stay in when it's hot like that, when I would otherwise go out. Even for stuff like wildlife, I'll just be like, oh, I just can't. It's not fun.
Why don't you just do some indoor photo projects? You could do macro and take close-ups of things. You could do water droplet photos. You could do food photography.
And night photography is just amazing.
Yeah, if it cools off at night.
It cools off a little bit.
You could do night photography.
I guess that's the best I got. I don't have any ways to like make yourself not hot anymore.
Me either. I don't know about that.
I think the guy asking the question, I think that's his photo, the Phoenix guy.
Really?
I
Wait, what's
think
the name of
so.
the guy asking the question?
Was it?
Oh, his name was Oh no, the guy, the guy that asked that question. Oh, I think I already deleted it.
That's
But
okay.
he also sent you $2 and roasted you. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the same person now. But maybe I can control Z. Oh yeah, it actually was. So
That's an amazing coincidence.
It was his photo. That was very ironic. That was his photo. But he also sent you $2 and made a weird comment about Chelsea needing scissors. So I don't really know if that was about your hair or something else.
Maybe it's because of this.
Oh, I don't know. It says $2 for scissors. It looks like Chelsea needs some. I guess I didn't realize. Maybe you made a comment about not being able to cut something. I just assumed he was roasting you.
I don't know. I'm used to being roasted, but I'll accept it because he's been in a really hot state for a while. So he's probably.
Oh my gosh. And I just got a $25 from Jimmy Picks because of for Samantha's comment on that last live when she said, "Oh, I'm shiny," when I was like, no, probably like I am right now. Go ahead and use the money for something.
Okay.
Oh.
No, you are incredibly matte right now.
You're matte. You're
So.
the opposite of shiny. Guys, you submitted amazing photos this week. You really stepped up to the theme. I think next week is going to be a little more challenging. Alive, it's a little more abstract. I want you to capture the concept of life, be creative, look up inspiration. You probably already have a photo for that theme. Thanks, Sam, for going through the questions and comments. Thanks, Justin, for keeping everything going smoothly. And thank you, Squarespace, for making this show possible by being our sponsor and for making people's photos look beautiful on their very own Squarespace websites. If you'd like to try your own for a 14-day free trial, you can go to squarespace.com/Chelsea, use the coupon code Chelsea, and you can get 10% off if you decide to buy it. See you all next week.
Thanks,
Bye.
Squarespace. Bye.
That is all.